Child, when Natalie finds out, heads are going to roll. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 14. And the name of this episode is The Pardon. This was a really damn good episode. I was so here for it. But before I get started, let me send a personal shout out to my YouTube partner, BK WorldTube, where you'll find everything Black Netflix. You'll get like the latest television, even movies, and even gossip. So definitely check out BK WorldTube. I will have their link in the description box, and I'll also have it in the comments as well. So shout out to BK WorldTube. Glad to be in partnership with you, and let's keep this thing moving, because this episode was everything. I was so here for it. Okay, so let's get started. It picks up where it left off, where Brad discovers that the baby's not breathing. He calls 911, and while he's on the phone, he immediately thinks of Bennett, so he runs across the street and nearly gets run over by Esperanza and Natalie. And he tells them, you know, the baby's not breathing, so they go inside. Esperanza takes over and talks to 911, and Esperanza really gets on my nerves because she is so damn arrogant and so damn judgmental and she really was pissing me off, because she was being real judgmental, like, you know, because Marcy was the one who put the baby down, but she put them down on the front, where, you know, babies at that small size, they need to be on their backs. They can't lay on their stomachs. And, you know, he's kind of panicking because, you know, the baby's not breathing, and he's not used to doing the nurturing. You know, that was something that Alex did with their kids. You know, Brad was working, bringing home the bacon. So this is a complete new world for him, and he's panicking. Esperanza's being judgmental, and then while she's on the phone with 911, Natalie was like, you don't need to send an ambulance. And at first we all looking like, what you trying to say, Natalie? Did the baby die? But she noticed that, you know, do you actually, you know, put your she put his, you know, put the, you know, your finger under his nose, and you can hear the breathing. So it's like he's just sleeping. But Brad didn't know. And then Esperanza was still being very judgmental, and, like, you know, Esperanza brings up Alex, and he's like, well, what about Alex? You know, what the hell's going on? And then damn, Natalie was like, child, like, you know, Natalie was ready to tell the tea, but Esperanza's like, no, it's okay. Brad asks them, do you know where she is? Have you seen her? And they admit that they've seen her, and, you know, eventually they finally admit that she's at a bar and that we need to get her. And he was like, please, a sleazy bar sounds like exactly where she belongs. And then, like, she's saying that you're not gonna go back and get her. You're really not. I'm like, Alice took herself over there to be a part of that bullshit. She got herself there. She can fucking walk out of there if she really wanted to. But Alex is on some crazy shit. Like, she literally has had a serious break, and it's like she don't give a damn about nothing, and no one can tell her shit. And pretty much Esperanza's like, you know, I'm gonna go back and try to get her out of there. And Natalie's like, look, you know, she an adult. When she ready to deal with shit, she'll leave. But other than that, And I don't blame them. I'm like, Alex has caused most of the stress and the trauma of this entire show from day one. Alex is the most toxic character in this show. Like, seriously. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. And it's like, don't y'all notice that Esperanza is always coming in to defend Alex? Like, Alex is always the victim. Like, Alex never takes responsibility for the bullshit she does. She's a compulsive liar. She's manipulative. And she's fucking selfish as hell. Like, seriously. But Natalie checks in with Brad, and before she's about to walk home, she runs into Tyrell. Her and Tyrell go back and forth, you know, and Tyrell is adamant about seeing justice, but Natalie tells him about, you know, what Kelly said, that she, you know, didn't want him to see justice before she spoke to him first. But then Tyrell had asked Natalie, could you talk to Lucian, since he's your fiance? Could you tell him maybe he can arrange for me to go to jail to sit down and talk to her? And she says she'll do what she can. And then he asked for some bread. At first she thought he was talking about money, but he wasn't. He meant actual bread. So she invites him in, and he was like, well, you know, I don't know about that. You know, I did just get out of jail. And she was like, so what? You gonna rob me? Natalie from the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know, just because a person come out of jail don't mean that they're a bad person. So it was cool that Natalie ain't forgot where she came from. She was like, dude, come on. So she went in there and made him a sandwich, and she pretty much talks about, you know, Joey being in jail. Like, yeah, you know, I think Joey right now is kind of like in protective custody in the prison, though, because, you know, he working with Larry. But she makes him a sandwich, and then he starts talking about Kelly, that how much he misses her, and that she's the love of his life. You know, they were childhood sweethearts, and that he's still in love with her, and that probably she may not feel the same way about me, but you know, it was cool that he shared his feelings for her. You know, and I was like, man, but trust me, when it comes down to Kelly, run. Because Kelly done got you into enough shit. And, you know, definitely more of Kelly later. So let's keep it moving. Then we see that Brad gets a visit by Dr. Roston. She came in to check on him. And pretty much, Brad was like, so Alice came to see you. And she's like, yeah. And Brad was like, well, what does she want? She's like, oh, she just, you know, wanted to, you know, catch up, to let us to let me know what was going on with her. Lying like shit. Yeah, you don't want to put it out there that you gave her birth control so she can go out here and be a whore and just screw every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes her way, including a mechanical bull. But anyway, so Brad pulls up her online profile, Jennifer Pepper, with the 2 P's, and lets it be known that she's been screwing around the whole time. And he says, and I want to get tested for everything. And boy, if I got anything, I was like, I don't blame you, Brad. I don't blame you. I mean, seriously, like, Alex is a reckless heifer. So, and then he began to ask, like, how is it that for 10 years you've been this kind of person, and then all of a sudden you just have this break out of nowhere? Because she's schizophrenic. She's crazy. Like, she really has a mental problem. And then he was very kind of like standoffish and aggressive towards Dr. Roston, but he apologizes to her for being rude. And she says, I understand, you've been through a lot. So then, so then we get a scene where Tyrell is back in Kelly's house, and guess who comes over to see him? Pat's old stinking crazy ass. Pat is something else. I mean, I think her mother put too much Kool-Aid, put too much sugar in her Kool-Aid or something, cause something ain't right with this bitch. Cause she come up in there like, you better not tell anybody that I helped you out. And then she even mentions that, you know, in the medical wing, the two of them got it in the broom closet. So while he was in prison, you know, you got you some of that patty cake. Baker's man. Anyway, so yeah, he screwed her ass, and he was trying to get it in with her. So I'm like, oh, low-key, Pat's a thought. She be trying to perp like she not one, like she's so holier than thou, but Pat got some loose screws. As I said, I think her mother put too much Kool-Aid in her sugar growing up, because she's just antsy and just jumpy for no damn reason. And he was saying, whose house is this? Is this your mother's house? He's like, no, it's my ex. And he was like, look, it's all good. We good. You know, shoot. It's been a minute. You know, I just got out. You know, and I'm saying, I get where Tyrell coming from. Like, bruh, I mean, not that I've been to jail, but somebody who's been in jail and has been deprived, you know, of you know, interacting with women, you know, he ready to get it in. He ready to smash. And he was trying to get Pat, but Pat starts being all, you know, meticulous and shit. And then she spots a picture of Kelly. She's like, that's her? Kelly Isaacs? And she's like, he's like, you know her? And she's like, yeah, I waited on her when she was at the infirmary. He's like, wow, it's a small world after all. And she was like, you know what? I ain't doing this. I'm getting the hell up out of here. You need to call one of your other strays to wet your pipe, but I ain't the bitch. So I'm out. And then all of a sudden we see him talking to Leslie. I'm like, boy, okay now. Because based on what happens at the end of this episode, you being up in there with Leslie might backfire on that ass, Tyrell, and you just got out of jail. Just saying. But then again, I understand. You just got out of jail and you trying to have you some fun. So then we go back to the cowboy bar. Alex is still riding the bull, drunk as all hell. Randall shows up, and pretty much he was saying that, oh, so this what it is? You trying to go back to your hillbilly whore roots? I was like, oh shit. Randall, aka Psycho Betty, came up in there already with the shit, and he helps her down off of the bull, and she asks Johnny for more drinks, and then he asks Randall, does he want to drink? He says, I'm good. He said, if you had been this bar, you drink. And Randall, again, I'm good. And she's like, you know what? He'll get a beer. Fuck him. And then all of a sudden she's like, so all of a sudden Randall starts going back and forth with Allison, like, what the hell is this? And she's like, oh, this is my new space. And, you know, that guy right there, pointing to Johnny, he's my new sponsor. You know, I'm going to be shacking up with him until I figure things out. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, this what it is? She's like, oh, yes. I am free of everything. I'm not going back to my old life. I am free. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. And ain't nothing no one's going to do to stop me. And then all of a sudden, here come the maniacal, you know, mental evil bastard that Randall is. He starts saying shit like, wow, I really did it. I drove you mad, huh? Yeah, girl, I really drove you mad. And she was like, well, you pretty much gave me insight that I needed to be free, so you may have did that, but you know what? Regardless of the fact, I'm finally free now, and I can do whatever the hell I want. And then all of a sudden Randall's like, no, you can't do that, because I'm not done, you know, making your life a living hell. Oh my God. I swear, Randall must have been a little boy with a helmet and a dirty diaper with a broken CNC, and instead of his mother taking him to a doctor, she just made him a glass of chocolate milk. Because these issues literally had to start when he was a child, because he just wants to dominate Marcy and Alex. It's like they're like his personal little puppets that he wants to control, and it's insane. And there's no wonder why he won't go to Larry, because he know he can't dominate Larry. He know Larry will take him down and steal those cakes like there's no tomorrow. So he wants to be the dominator. He has to be in charge, and the guy's a complete sociopath. Like, the guy is insane. And I'm like, if anybody need to be in a padded room with a straitjacket, it's this motherfucker. For real, Psycho Betty, which is why I gave him the nickname, because you just never know what you're gonna get with this bitch. And pretty much, you know, Alex goes back and forth with them and was like, you know what, you can't do that anymore. It's over. And he pretty much says, I'm about to take your ass out of here. She's like, I'm not going anywhere. He says, I'm gonna say this shit again. Get your ass up out of here. And then all of a sudden he starts grabbing her, and she's like, look around. don't you see these good old boys? It's not really your scene. I guess you better, you know, back up while you still can. So he literally manhandles her and pulls her up, and then all of a sudden Johnny came up with that gun and was like, you leave her alone, or I swear I will blow your head off right now. So yeah, get on out of here. Leave now, curvy cock. I was like, oh! I was like, oh shit, Johnny, no, you not throwing shade in country. Like, I was here for it. Yeah, you heard me, curvy cock. I was like, oh man, I was so here for that. So, and then Randall literally turned into Beavis and Butthead and then walked up out of there. I'm like, yeah. Oh my god, that scene had me dying. So then we get a scene with Larry and Eddie. Eddie still being disrespectful to the secretary when he come into Larry's office, and pretty much he pretty much tells Larry, I brought you something. And then Larry was like, oh, really? Do I need to take my clothes off? I'm like, Larry is such a slut. It's ridiculous. But then he says that, nah, I got something for you that you're going to enjoy. I just want you to open your mouth real wide. And he pretty much tells him, I have a list of names. You know, of all the people, because he says, because I know you represent the church, and I know these list of names could be very useful to you, you know, in this murder case. And then he says that, you know, this is what's going to happen. Give me the information from Pete, Joey, and Andrew, and I'll give you this information. And he was like, and he pretty much says, like, so where did you get this information? He says, I got it from Kelly Isaac's cell. One of the sisters of the church gave it to her. So then he pretty much pages Ian to come in there. Ian comes in and he's like, oh, guess what? This man, Eddie here, says that he got information that was in Kelly Isaac's cell. Were you aware of any of this? And he was like, no. And he was like, so what about Carl? He was like, well, I'm on it. I haven't got back to him yet, but I'm on it. He was like, useless. I was like, he was straight up disrespecting the hell out of Ian, but Ian's a fucking simp, and quite frankly, it is what it is. But then again, I have to take it a little easy on Ian, because Ian did do what he could with the situation. So, I mean, because it was Ian that got Carl, so therefore he did play a role in trying to help her. But then he pretty much asks, so therefore Eddie and Larry go back and forth, and pretty much Eddie was like, so what is it worth to you? And pretty much Larry was like, I got $50K right now. So he's like, okay, fine. Ian, go to the safe and get the money. Just treating Ian like he's a damn peon when he's pretty much, you know, a partner in the firm, but literally was treating him like he was his servant. Like, and I was just like, wow, the disrespect of it all. So then we get a scene with Esperanza and Steven. She's gonna go back to Alex because she has to save Alex, you know, and he's saying, she pretty much tells him, I'm going down to get her, would you come with me? And he agrees. I'm like, yeah, that may be a good thing, because due to the fact that you FBI, Stevens, that will probably give the leverage to get Alex up out of that bitch. Because Alex is about to get, you know, she about to get turned into a doorknob, and all of them good old boys gonna get a turn on that ass. Don't act like y'all don't know. So then we get a scene with Ian and Lucien. They're looking for Carl, and Ian was like, but what is this information you wanted to tell me about? And Lucien says, Eddie happened, you know, and he was like, so you mean to tell me Eddie took it? He was like, yeah. And he says, there are no copies. He's like, nope, there are no copies. And pretty much Ian dropped the bomb to Lucien that Eddie sold it to Larry for $50K. Yeah, he pretty much said that he had info, you know, to keep everything quiet. And then all of a sudden, Lucien kind of looked at him like, are you in on this, Ian? He was like, nah. He's like, nah, because this shit sounds fishy. You with this shit? And he was like, nah, man, you can trust me. Then he's like, bruh, show me something. You know, in your business, like in your field, results mean business, and in my field, results mean business. You need to give me some results. And all of a sudden, Stevens comes in and tells Lucian that the DA is here to see him. So Lucian and Ian walk out, and they run into Larry in the hallway. And Larry's like, Ian, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm working on the Vasquez case. You know, Julian's family and all that. And then, you know, and then he asks Larry, what are you doing here? And Larry's like, I'm here to see the DA. So I'm like, oh, this shit's about to get real. So, so he's like, okay, well, he tells Ian to accompany him to go talk to the DA, and Lucian goes into, but Lucian already looking suspicious, like something ain't right with this motherfucker. See, Lucian, when Lucian get done, he gonna have Larry, Eddie, he gonna have all their asses up in jail, because Lucian is just seeing all the bullshit. So they go in there. We see Carl, and Carl was looking clean, wasn't he? With his little fine self. He was looking clean in his blue suit. You couldn't tell that brother nothing. He came in there confident and everything. So Carl, the DA, Lucian, Larry, and Ian are there. They go back and forth, and she presents a folder to Larry and them, you know, along with the affidavit, you know, with all of the women that accepted NDAs in regards to Travis' crazy ass. And then all of a sudden, Larry starts saying, well, we settled out of court. And then, like, Carl was like, no, bruh. This is a criminal case. You know, that doesn't work in a criminal case. And, you know, and they are all ready to testify. And I met with every single one of them. I'm like, you better do the damn thing, Carl. While Kelly up here talking shit, you the only one that's really fighting for her ass. And Carl showed up. And when he starts trying to press him how you get this information, he's like, my sources are confidential. I'm like, you better do it. You better do it. And then all of a sudden, you know, Larry's like, but we can still prosecute. And the DA was like, we're not prosecuting anything. As a matter of fact, my office is now gonna start investigating these cases. And she pretty much tells him that, you know what, Larry, you and your church need to get it together. And then he starts like, well, you know it's election year, right? Did you forget? And she's like, oh, you trying to threaten me? And he's like, no. She's like, yeah, because that will not be wise. And then she tells Lucian that the DA is going to drop the murder case. We're going to say it's self-defense. So Kelly's free to go. And I was like, yes! Yes! About damn time! They came up in that shit and shut it down. And Larry was hot like a damn road lizard. He was pissed. He was heated. And he starts going like, he starts antagonizing Carl like, how did you do this? How did you do this? And he said, the good Lord. Hallelujah. I was like, you better play it, Carl. I rocks with Carl. Carl did his thing. So Larry walked out. He was mad as hell. And Lucian and Carl have a moment. And Carl was like, you didn't believe me. You didn't believe in me, did you? He was like, nah, I didn't, but I'm glad you proved me wrong. You did good, kid. Well, let's go tell Kelly the good news. So then, while Larry is fuming, him and Ian have a conversation, and he was like, I smell a rat. That kid had help. Because the same photos that Eddie showed me were the exact same photos that was in that file. But yeah, I did remember Ian was the one who has been working with he's been working with Carl on the sneak, but then also Rick was providing him with information too. So that's how you got all that. And I think the duplicates, I think he got from Ian, because Ian had all that shit. And he pretty much says, I bet I know the son of a bitch who did this shit. Eddie. Because Eddie had the same thing. And you know what? That son of a bitch got $50,000 from me. So he's like, I'm going to give my money back. Watch me. So then we also get a scene with Marcy and Brad. They discuss lawyer information. She gives him lawyer information, which means she gives him Larry's number, you know, saying that you need to get custody of your kids and you need to sit down and talk to them on what's really going on. And pretty much he tells Marcy, why don't you sit in with us? At first she disagrees because of the kids and, you know, this is an awkward situation, but he's like, look, I want you there. And they'll adjust. So that was the end of that. Then we get a scene with Lucian and Kelly. Lucian tells Kelly, like, look, Eddie got rid of the information and I wasn't able to locate it and all of that, so we didn't have anything. Kelly goes bananas, starts going off. I can't stay in here another day. I'm gonna die in here. I need to get out of here. Oh my God. And she just flipping out. And then all of a sudden Carl walks up. She's like, what the hell are you doing here? Bitch? Do you have money to pay for an attorney? I didn't think so, bitch. So be grateful because Lucian lets her know, Carl got you off. And she's like, what are you talking about? He got you off. You're free to go. The DA is dropping the charges. They're going to say it's self-defense. You're free to go. Oh, she was on cloud nine. She's, oh, thank you so much. He's like, oh, yeah, the one who's green, who don't know what he's doing. I'm like, you better tell her ass, Carl, like, yeah, bitch, you was doing all this extra shit, but yeah, I made it happen for you, and you didn't believe in me, and I just proved to you that I'm about that life. And she was just so happy. Oh, thank you. So they finally let her out of the jail, and she's so happy, and she gets so wrapped up in her emotional whim that she lays a kiss on Lucian, and I was like, oh, Natalie gonna beat your ass. You kissing on her man. But I just think Kelly was swept up in the moment. But God forbid if anybody saw it. Because if they did, if Natalie finds wind of this, and you know how Natalie is quick to snap. She is quick to go the hell off. And Kelly, ooh, bitch. But yeah, that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. So until next time, everybody, take care.